Hey, I'm Dean and this is Legacy Voyage. In Season 1, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full-time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way.
His teachers really thought he was retarded. Isn't that crazy? Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend, his teachers thought he was retarded. This is the quote from the book. "We have reason to believe that Elon is retarded." That was the teacher who said this. He spends most of his time in a trance, not listening. One of his teachers explained, he looks out of the window all the time, and when I tell him to pay attention, he says, the leaves are turning brown now. This was just one of the stories that I picked out from the book that I thought was really, really interesting. Because right now we think of Elon Musk as this man that's greater than everything. I mean, how is he running all these different companies, finding success in all these different things, literally the richest man alive? How is he doing all these things? And so I wanted to learn more about him and his journey to where he is now. I think most people want to be ultra wealthy like Elon, but they don't know what it takes. Is being ultra wealthy really worth it? And this book helped me to find that out. Because for the longest time, ever since I was little, I always had this dream of, I want to make $1 billion. And that's with a B. B with a billion. I always wanted to be the richest man alive, the richest tongue you'll ever see. But is it really worth it? Because by all measures of success, by all standard measures, Elon is literally the most successful person in the world. He's running 6 companies right now. Let me run through them. He's got Tesla. He's got SpaceX and Starlink, which is kind of like a offset of that. He's got X.com, which is formerly Twitter, The Boring Company, Neuralink, X.ai, all these different things that are doing huge things in energy and space exploration and media democratization, all these big, huge, fancy words. He's doing all these things, but he's not just doing it at a low level. He's doing all of these things at an extremely high level. His net worth right now is $242 billion. With a B. That is crazy to wrap my head around. This is late 2023, by the way, but you can double check what his net worth is right now. I mean, probably upwards of 400 billion, maybe. I don't know, in the future. But you look at this guy, look at all his stats, and I can confidently say right now, I would not want to be him. And you might be thinking, Dean, what the heck? Why wouldn't you want to be worth over $200 billion and be able to buy literally anything you want in the world? How could you not want that? And don't get me wrong, I mean, I don't think it would be tough to have a couple $1 billion sitting in the bank right now. I mean, that would probably be super nice, but I don't want to be him. It would probably be super nice to have the net worth of entire countries' GDP. I mean, this guy is insane, but I still wouldn't want to be him. And the reason why is actually super simple, because I've reprioritized my life to be all about health, relationships, and wealth in that order. And that is super important to me now, and especially moving forward and thinking through life of where I want to be in the next 10, 20, 50 years from now. I would not want to be him. And there was this really good quote that I love from Warren Buffett. And he says, success is measured by how many people you want to love you that actually do. And I think that's really important to say. Success isn't all about the money. Success isn't all about how many cars you have or how many nice watches you own. It's not about that. I think what's a lot more important is the people around you. I think what's a lot more important is your own health, mental, physical, spiritual too. And I think those are just way more important in the end. So it's true. I think by all measures of standard statistics, metrics, whatever you want to say, Elon wins. He wins all of it. But how do you personally define success? Is it all about the money, or is there something more to it? Is there something more to success and happiness and fulfillment than the cash or your net worth? And I think there is. That's probably the biggest takeaway I had from this book. But it's not to say that we can't look at Elon's life, look at some of the things that he's done and say, okay, although I don't want to be like him, I'm going to take what he's been through life. I'm going to use that to where I want to go in life. And these are 7 things that I think really set Elon apart from the rest of us. Because quite frankly, I mean, this dude is actually built different. He's done some really, really cool things. And this audiobook, it was like 20 hours long. So it was a grind to get through it all, but not also get through it all, but have good highlights in there and then distill those highlights into the most key insights. But these are the coolest things that I found. Number 1, I think with Elon is that he's a huge learner. He loves learning. He would do it in his spare time. And there's a quote that he said, reading remained Musk's psychological retreat. It was a way for him to get away from the world and just learn. And I think it's really cool because if we can place this value in learning where we don't learn just to get the A on the test or just to pass the exam and graduate school. If we learn because we love learning, I think it opens up a lot more opportunities. Another quote I love, I heard it somewhere, but it says, "Don't let education get in the way of your learning." And I think it's really important now moving into next quarter. I think it's super important for me not to put education above my actual learning, which I think I'm getting through internships and real world experience. The second thing that I think sets Elon apart from a lot of others is his ability to influence others. He can get other people to do what he wants them to do through words. And it's super powerful because Steve Jobs, all the other big CEO leaders in the world, they all have this amazing skill. The quote I found was, "One of Elon's greatest skills is his ability to pass off his vision as a mandate from heaven, to tell the people who are working for him, to tell his team, look, this is important. And not only is this important, it's the most important thing ever, period. And that's why you need to come do this thing with me now." And he would state these things in such a matter-of-fact way that it would grab everyone's attention. It would lock their eyes onto his vision and then make them run towards it without them even noticing what's happening. And that's something that he is super gifted in. Now, the third thing is that he has this weird obsession with risk. He loves risking everything, literally. From the book, it says, "I guess I've always wanted to push my chips back onto the table or play the next level of the game." So it sounds like he's not just playing this game to eventually cash in his chips and walk out of the casino. This man's is playing the game so he can play the game. And after winning all the chips in the world, he'll have it all come in his net worth, in his bank. And he'll have it all right in front of him, ready to cash it in. And he'll take his hands, make a wall in front of him, and just push it away because he wants to keep playing the game over and over and over again and just get to the next level. And it's something that really made him stand out. I heard this story, it was in the book, but also from a video that he did. When he was trying to make the decision early in the SpaceX and Tesla journey, he was trying to make this decision, where is he going to put the money? Because he only has enough money for one of his two companies. And the thing about Elon, the thing about any entrepreneur or any founder who starts a business is that they see these things as their children. After they've poured their life, blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, this entity, it's really tough to let go of it. And he had to come to this decision where he had SpaceX on one hand and he had Tesla on the other, and they're both dying. And he had to think to himself, okay, Elon, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put the money? It's like having two children. Both of them are starving to death. Both of them are likely to die, and you only have enough food for one. So you have to come to this choice. Are you going to give it to one? And that way, you know, that one child that you chose, they're definitely going to make it, but then you'd be executing the other. Or are you going to try to split it between the two, hopefully make things work, but take on more risk because both of them are probably going to pass away. And that was the decision he faced when trying to choose between SpaceX and Tesla. And it was really, really tough. But eventually he came to the only decision he could come to, which was both of them, because he loves risk. He loves this adrenaline rush of seeing what can work. And ultimately he did. He put the money into both the companies and eventually found a way to make it work. And it kind of ties into this next thing, which is he's also a visionary. He loves the idea of doing big things. There's a story where he had a fanatic love of video games and the skills to make money creating them, but that was not the best way to spend his life. And he said this, he said, "I wanted to have more impact." If you look at that and you say, that's crazy. Elon could have been, instead of someone who's trying to go and take the human race to Mars, or trying to democratize freedom of speech, or trying to get sustainable energy for all vehicles, he could have just been like a video game developer. What the heck? This man could have been making the next Mario. But the thing about him is that he wanted to go out and do big things. Because he was a visionary. He wanted to imagine the future, travel in time, create what was there, and bring it back to the present. And have a team along the way who will help him do it. Another thing I found with Elon is that he's a contrarian. He loves to question the status quo. Because there were a bunch of examples in all of his companies where he was trying to build, and his engineering team or his sales team or anyone else, his executive team, they'd come to him and say, "We can't do that, Elon. What are you trying to ask us to do? Because that's not possible." And Elon said, "Well, make it possible." but they had all these limiting beliefs, all these rules they made up in their head that they can't do it, when in reality, Elon was like, just go and do it. Another highlight I had is that the only rules are the ones dictated by the laws of physics. Everything else is a recommendation. And it kind of puts this into perspective where, especially with me, when I'm going through life, I'm going through school, and I'm thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that, because it's against the rules. When in reality, the only rules that exist are like gravity and the laws of physics and, I don't know, the laws of thermodynamics or something. Those are the only real rules that exist. Everything else is that's all just a recommendation. And when he was thinking through that type of framework, that type of mindset, it allowed him to open up a lot more opportunities that no one else could even imagine, let alone see and actually execute on. But Elon was the one who say, you know what? All of that is just a facade. I'm going to just go do this thing that none of you guys else are doing. And it's what allowed him to create all these innovative new ideas and actually go and execute on them. The sixth thing I found with Elon is that he is an optimizer. I mean, Elon loves efficiency. He's all about it and getting as much output as he can possible out of as little input as he can. He loves deleting. And he has this quote saying one of his maxims was that you should never use a cruise missile to kill a fly. Just use a fly swatter. And it was when he was trying to over-optimize or over-automize his whole process for making Tesla cars. And as he was creating the assembly line, he was trying to create robots who would do it efficiently and effectively to where it would just be a machine churning out cars left and right. And then eventually came to this idea where it's like, I don't have to have all of these robots automating the entire world. Some of these things are simple enough to where I could just have a human press a window in or click a button and everything will be okay. And it was one of the examples where he was like trying to use this cruise missile to kill a fly, when in reality, he doesn't have to use something so heavy, so over the top to just kill the dang fly. You use a fly swatter. And it happened a whole bunch where I see this in my life too, where I'm trying to automate everything in the world, when in reality, I could just have a person do it. I could just do it myself and it'll be way quicker, it'll be way easier and less headache. And I also want to add another quote to this part as an optimizer. Elon said, if you don't end up having to restore 10% of the parts you deleted, then you didn't delete enough. And I think this is really important because he errs more on the side of deleting too much. What I mean by this is that he'll have a whole set of a system or a whole set way of doing things, and he'll go through that system and delete certain parts, say, that's not necessary, take that out, that's a waste of time. And he'll try to hone it down to only the things you actually truly need. And even then, he'll go back through and delete more because he's more interested in deleting too much and having to restore some of those things instead of not deleting enough and not knowing if there's a faster, better way to get things done. Now, the final thing that I'll leave off with, I think is really, really cool about Elon is that he's a philosophizer. He loves philosophizing about these deep questions. And although at first they might seem abstract and you can't really apply them to actual life and doing things right now, I think they're absolutely applicable because they give this whole different way of seeing the world that I don't think any other discipline can. And he said this, he said, physics could teach everything about the universe except why. And what's really important here is that, of course, physics is amazing, science is great, but I would say they're great at certain things. Nothing about science tells you why killing someone is wrong, morally wrong, and why we shouldn't do it. I don't think anything about science will tell you any answer to the questions that actually matter. And I think it's those big questions of why we're here. What's the point of all this? Which is something where philosophy and religion steps in and tries to come up with ideas to these answers, and why I think it's really, really important. Now, there's one more thing that I want to talk about that was in the book. I have a lot more highlights, a lot more insights from the book, but this was something that I really wanted to share on here. And it's this idea that's kind of like a safe word for Elon and all his friends. And by safe word, I mean, they say this word and Elon will be like, okay, you're right. I'm going to stop doing this right now. And this word is open loop. Now, usually in all of life, if I do something, I get feedback from it. Like, for example, let's say I turn on the stove and the stove is burning hot. It's red to the touch and I touch it with my finger. If I touch it with my finger, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to have the feedback loop that, oh my goodness, that thing is burning hot. My hand is in pain. I'm going to take my hand off of the stove. But what happens if that feedback loop isn't there? where it's an open loop and I don't get feedback anymore. If I touch the stove and I don't even realize that I'm in pain, but my hand is on fire and it's slowly coming to take over my body, what happens then? And that's the idea behind an open loop, is these moments or these eras in Elon's life or any one of us where we go and do all these things without getting feedback. Because when you're in these state of mind and you completely disregard all of the outcomes, all of the feedback that you could possibly get, and you just start doing things just to do it, then it could spiral out of control to where you're hurting yourself and everyone else around you. Because something else about Elon is that he loves feedback. He loves getting feedback. He says, we all make mistakes. What matters is whether a person has a good feedback loop. When they can seek criticism from others and improve on that criticism. And it's something that served him super well in his entire career, not only as someone who's trying to go out and do big things, but someone who's trying to go and build products and build teams and lead a successful company. That's something that helped a lot. I thought this book was extremely valuable, would highly encourage everyone to check it out. For the life update, I've been really, really good in terms of starting from the top, in terms of my health. Mental health, I think it's been the same. It's been the same as it has been for the past couple weeks. It's been really good because I've purposefully made time for myself to, think through life and philosophizing, which has probably really helped a lot. Physical health, I actually haven't worked out before this week, for the last 2-3 weeks. But coming back here, getting more into some type of routine, I think has been super helpful. So just getting back into the gym has been really awesome. And also my diet has been really on point. I think after I talked about that cognitive diffusion idea or concept that I came over last episode, I think it's actually really helped me into being like, okay, I can have thoughts of eating the cookie or the ice cream. Doesn't mean I have to act on it. And really that action part is probably way more important. So that's been really good. In terms of my spiritual health, really just been progressing in this game of religion and seeing where it takes me, honestly. So trying to pray is something that I'm trying to work on, because I can read the scriptures and I can go to church and I can do all these things. But what I probably struggle with the most is prayer and opening myself up that way and humbling myself to getting down on my knees and actually asking God, are you there? Are the words that I'm reading true? Are they not true? Please send me a sign or please tell me. And that's something that I've been trying to do and will continue to do moving forward. In terms of relationships, it's been awesome. This past week, I made time for my brother and sister-in-law. They both came over, had a great time, of course, canceled a bunch of meetings. So I was trying to play catch up the whole time. But I think it was worth it in the end, because making time for the people who are most important to me in my life that's matters more than all the money in the world. And I think it's a lot more important. With wealth, I've got a couple things going on. So as I'm wrapping up these internships, I'm looking forward to next quarter and trying to debate what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be spending my time. And I think where I find myself is that I'll be staying on one of the search fund internships, which is Succession. I'll be doing that next quarter. And I'm hopefully going to learn a lot, and I'm super excited for that because I don't want my education to get in the way of learning. So that'll be really, really cool. And really just getting all the feedback that I can from the internships that I'm ending. And it's nice because I'm going to get not even a big check. It's like a tiny check, but a check is a check and money is money. So it's nice to get something for all the time that I put in for the past couple weeks. So that'll be nice. And as always, with Ninja News, I've actually been kind of slacking, because I was supposed to do an interview earlier this week. It just never came through. I was supposed to hop on a couple intro calls last week. They straight up didn't show up. And that's really just all a part of the game. I mean, trying to reach out to people and having those people completely ghost me is all part of it. And learning a lot as I'm doing this. As I keep saying, I think playing this game is super valuable. And I'm happy to be doing it. Looking forward to next quarter. We'll keep everyone filled in. But that's all for this one. I record these episodes completely free to share success with everyone. So the only thing I ask is that if you learned anything or found something interesting in this episode, just leave a review and share it with a friend. Only takes 5 seconds and it would mean the world. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next episode. Tatok, see you.